solved?
The world clutches.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
It's
that.
100% a stunt. When was the last time our president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? What? They would never do that. They would have water ready for him. Water on stage.
What's this next story? Why people think Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are getting divorced. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So rumors of potential divorce before Barack and Michelle emerged after Michelle skipped two high-profile events, which is traditionally attended by former presidents and their spouses, and their funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. Michelle's office gave no reasons for her absence, prompting widespread speculation about marital status issues. Social media and tabloids questioned the couple's relationship, with many noting the unusual nature of her missing such significant events. Despite the rumors, there have been no concrete evidence.
Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David just took a political sledgehammer to Barack Obama's carefully polished legacy. No teleprompters, no fluff, just raw, unfiltered takedowns of the myth, the media worship, and a mountain of contradictions propping up the former president's image. From drone diplomacy to Wall Street speeches, they tore through the smoke and mirrors like never before. If you thought Obama was untouchable, think again. This wasn't a roast, it was a reckoning.
Can I get a glass of water? I'm serious. I'm thirsty. Can I get a glass of water? This is not a prank. You never seen it?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh,
it's amazing.
No.
He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this, like this.
It's so serious that Jimmy Kimmel asked Jennifer Aniston on the show, is there something going on with you and Barack? I've never seen this. I just ended to Rob, is this really him asking?
Rogan didn't ease in. He came charging like a gorilla with a podcast mic in one hand and a protein shake in the other, ready to bulldoze every myth and illusion that's been treated like sacred political scripture. Leaning in with that gruff, casual tone, you could tell he was about to go full throttle, and Obama's shrine of hope and change speeches was first on the chopping block.
$70 million. Pre-presidency, 1.7. So expensive being at the White House. It was so expensive that our net worth went from 1.3 million to 12.2 million 8 years later. What an expensive lifestyle. And then you go from 12.2 million to $70 million. What do you think the average person that listens to this, do you think they connect to that, Michelle? I'm just curious. You're a very good communicator.
He kicked it off with the question everyone thinks, but nobody says out loud. Why is Obama treated like the Jedi master of politics when his actual record was more style than substance? Rogan laughed as he painted the picture. A man who could deliver a speech with Broadway grace, yet couldn't close a deal without leaving chaos, confusion, or a few thousand drone strikes in his wake.
Give me some volume. Go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country.
Yeah.
We used to think he was actually running the country. Now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all.
Then came the mockery of Obama's legendary cadence, as if tone alone could pay off the national debt. Rogan joked the media acted like every sentence was dipped in holy water, even if it was pure political gibberish. He imagined Obama saying, "We need to innovate the innovation with innovative innovations," and the press still calling it genius, while the rest of America sat there wondering if they'd missed the point entirely.
Proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning an income. So all of that was in my mind. How would we manage this? So my fears came from the fact that I thought he could win. Because maybe way in the back of my mind, I was hoping that maybe he wouldn't, that this would be the last thing he would do. But I knew he had it in him to make this happen.
So, what are you thinking when you're giving this message? Like what?
Next, Rogan ripped into the halo effect, that magical shield that let Obama glide past scandals without a scratch. He called it the ultimate political yoga, preaching peace on Monday, approving drone strikes on Tuesday, and staying just limber enough to dodge accountability every time.
I think the best people age the hardest. I think Obama was probably like a very idealistic young man
Oh Lord, what's going on now? Who's hollering? I can't even see it.
who really wanted to change the world. And that dude aged more than anybody.
I mean, I'm getting old, so I can't hear that well. I can't see.
My favorite part was when Kamala Harris shows up, looks over and sees that Obama and Trump are talking to each other, and she goes like, "Yeah, watch this. Look at her face. Look how angry she is, dude. Look how angry she is." It's
Then came the branding roast. Rogan argued Obama's presidency was less governance and more a marketing campaign on steroids, complete with a logo, color scheme, and enough PR to launch a new iPhone. Even his walk, Joe joked, looked rehearsed. On policy, the Affordable Care Act rollout got the Vista-level tech flop treatment. Rogan painted the scene. A president selling a healthcare revolution, but delivering a website that crashed harder than a Joe Biden speech on quantum mechanics. And the surveillance state? Rogan skewered the irony of a transparency president who expanded domestic spying like it was a Kickstarter project. If Obama were a magician, Rogan said he'd vanish every time someone asked for accountability.
Let's do data. Rob, can you type in Obama's net worth in 2007? What was Obama in 2007? 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Okay. So their net worth is, let's write this down. This is pre-White House. Their collective net worth was 1.3 million. Can you go to where their net worth was in 2016 when they're done being presidents? Okay. 2016. So their net worth, as expensive as it was, they went from being 1.3 million to 12.2.
Rogan tore into Obama's recovery, mocking how Wall Street popped champagne while Main Street looked like it had gone 12 rounds with Mike Tyson. Stagnant wages, soaring debt, middle America on life support. But sure, call it progress. He laughed at the fairy tale of Obama as a working-class hero when most moves bailed out the same banks he claimed to fight. Then came the post-presidency glow-up, Netflix deals, celebrity galas, and endless unity speeches from a man who'd spent 8 years dividing the country. Rogan's kill shot. If hypocrisy were an Olympic sport, Obama would be wearing gold while giving a TED Talk about humility.
because Obama said he was a jackass.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing up there? He's a jack.
It's like, oh, really? Well, you.
It was about the Taylor Swift thing.
No, all this stuff.
That guy's a jack. Like, it wasn't even that harsh of an incident. And he said it privately, and I think somebody heard it. I don't think he said it to be public.
I'm assuming all this stuff. Where's the pool? Come on, guys.
Then Patrick Bet-David stepped in. If Rogan was the flamethrower, Patrick was the wrecking ball with receipts. He went straight for Fast and Furious and the IRS targeting, laying them out like evidence in court. He crushed the unifier myth, showing how hope and change curdled into deeper division and a media that treated him like royalty. Great communicator? Sure. Great leader? Not even close. Obama talked big, dodged hard decisions, and escaped every consequence. Patrick mocked how every blunder was spun as too complex for Americans to understand, saying you don't need an Ivy League degree to spot a smooth-talking elitist too enlightened to be wrong.
Democratic president.
Right. So you don't go to that and you don't even comment. First of all, if I'm the Carter family, I feel disrespected. Now, maybe she would have called them and said, look, I don't want to comment on this, but I'm calling you out of respect just to tell you I'm not going to be there for my own reasons. Please understand I can't. I'm so sorry. Da-da-da-da-da. Great. Maybe she made that phone call to the Carter family. Great.
Then came the foreign policy takedown. Patrick blamed the rise of ISIS on Obama's indecision and ego, called Libya a horror movie and Syria a humanitarian dumpster fire. All while Obama posed for magazine covers and drew red lines that meant nothing. On the economy, Patrick reminded everyone the national debt doubled. A scandal for any Republican, but with Obama, it was rebranded as investment. And culturally, he left America more divided than ever, turning every criticism into a race issue while the media happily played defense.
Do you remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television? This. Mm-hmm. And then they go, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped
a war from happening?
Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect.
Patrick warned about the danger of charisma replacing competence when likability gets mistaken for policy. Obama, he said, was the ultimate political influencer, big on words, light on execution, shielded by a narrative machine. Patrick's closing blow was brutal. If politics were a business, Obama would be the slick CEO dazzling the board with TED Talks while quietly driving the company into the ground. By the time anyone checked the balance sheet, he'd already moved on to the next gig, selling hope to a richer, more gullible audience. Rogan's unfiltered sarcasm and Patrick's cold-blooded analysis didn't just roast Obama. They stripped away the dorm room poster and memoir gloss, leaving the contradictions, spin, and brand over performance.
Michelle Obama is slammed for whining about costs in the White House. Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. This is her speaking with, is this the diaries of a CEO, right? So, Rob, if you can play this clip, this is her talking about how expensive it was to live in the White House. Go for it.
It's expensive to live in the White House.
Yeah.
As many people don't know. I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every food, every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the first lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on.
But for Rogan and Patrick, it wasn't just about Obama. It was about the culture that crowned him and banned criticism. Patrick tore into his golden boy status among elites. The Hollywood parties, late-night shows, and self-congratulatory book deals. He mocked how the man of the people now lived like royalty in Martha's Vineyard, preaching equality from a marble balcony while cashing six-figure checks from the same corporations he once scolded. The image of Obama lecturing CEOs while pocketing checks the size of small nations. Patrick said the irony was so rich it could wipe out a student loan.
Obama did it, and it's disgusting. It's a disgusting lie. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists. Okay?
And then came the youth myth. Patrick rolled his eyes at Obama's champion of the young branding, noting how he left them with record debt and empty slogans dressed up as policy. Joe jumped back in, joking that Obama seemed more into curating his Spotify playlist than cleaning up his mess. If image were leadership, he'd be Mount Rushmore, Rogan quipped, but substance? Different story. They agreed the real tragedy wasn't just the gap between promise and results. It was that so many still refused to see it. Not because they couldn't, but because admitting it meant admitting they got played. And that truth was too bitter for a generation raised on hope and change to swallow.